Hi, guys, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Priscilla, and welcome to my podcast, the Prizzilla Podcast. If you don't know anything about me, basically, I talk a lot and I like to talk about anything and everything with anyone, which is why I got into a lot of trouble in school and I got my seat changed around a lot, but it never really worked because, like I said, I talk to everyone. So here I'll be focusing mostly on pop culture, current events, and even some personal stories if I feel the need to share them with you. So if you're into that, then I hope you'll stick around. I want to formally apologize for last week's episode being all over the place, but that was something I hadn't planned on doing at all, and I decided to force myself just to talk about anything so I can turn doing these podcasts into some kind of a habit. But this week, I wanted to try something new, and if you like it, then we can actually turn it into like a reoccurring segment on my podcast. But I call this Should Have Kept It in the Drafts. And how this works is I'll go through my Twitter drafts, and if I have a guest on the show, which I expect to in the near future, we will go through their Twitter drafts. And if you don't know what like Twitter drafts are, they're tweets that you were going to tweet out, but for some reason you just canceled them and sent them to the drafts. Maybe you never sent them. Maybe you're just too scared. I don't know. For whatever reason, they are in your Twitter drafts. So we will read a few of them. And since I don't have a guest today, I will be going through my own Twitter drafts and talking a little bit about them. Hopefully there's some good shit in there and we can bring up some topics that I've been wanting to talk about. Okay, so the first draft I want to talk about is, I don't know when I tweeted this or when I was about to tweet this, but I think we were all talking about like what ways would you allow Twitter to know that you were kidnapped if your kidnappers allowed you to tweet so people around you thought everything was still normal, but you wanted to kind of send them a message without actually sending them a message to tell them that you're in danger. So I had mentioned, actually I didn't even mention anything. I had said that it was just some sentence that made no sense, and it could have made sense if I used correct spelling and grammar and punctuation, but I purposely didn't. So this is one of the drafts that I had made after that. It says, if I misspell more than one word, forget punctuation, and use improper grammar, please call the police. A lot of people, and I understand that they say this can be like classist, or maybe not classist, I'm not really sure, but I've seen people say that they get annoyed when people are like sticklers about grammar, punctuation, and spelling. But when I do it, I'm not talking about people who are bilingual, trilingual, English as a second language, are from another country. Nothing like that. I'm talking about full-grown adults who are at least high school graduates and are like US born American citizens, only speak English, those type of people. Like basically people like me, we just really have no excuse unless, of course, you have like a learning disability or anything. I'm just saying, anyone who doesn't have those kind of excuses, what's your excuse? You know, other than like laziness. I've seen this said somewhere before and I try to live by it. It was, there's no excuse for ignorance in the age of information. And I feel like that's so true. Everyone has spell check on their phones these days. You can look up like the proper spelling. You can look up proper grammar if you're using the correct form of there, which there are multiple forms of there. And I don't understand what's so confusing about it. THEIR is possessive. THERE is like a place, a direction over there, and THEY apostrophe RE is a contraction for they are. Like, I don't know what is so hard about that, especially if you're seeing it on your phone or on paper. It's so much easier than to like think of it at the top of your head, just like I did right now. And then also 2, 2, and 2. TO is like kind of like there. I forgot what the word is. I can look it up, but I don't want to make more noise. Anyway, it's like a direction. Where are you going to go? To the mall. And then the other kind of to is like also. Like I want to go to the mall to TOO also. And then TWO is the number 2. It's not that hard, but I see full-grown adults who think they're so smart make these mistakes like in their daily life, and I'm just like, how? It's the bare minimum. We learned this in elementary school. I don't care if it's social media. I still make an effort to try and create complete sentences as long as it allows me, because like on Twitter they only give you like 360 characters or something like that. But someone had said, they saw my tweet when I was saying like it was a cry for help if I tweeted like that, and I made all those errors, and they're like, oh, she doesn't really like make any mistakes in her tweets. And then they noticed that it was my joke. So yeah, hopefully if I am ever in any danger, the people who are putting me in danger do not listen to this podcast or see my Twitter. But if they do make me tweet like everything's normal and you see me misspelling things, leaving out punctuation, using improper grammar, please try to find me. I wouldn't even say call the police because sometimes they are helpless. So the final draft we're going to be talking about today is from me. I don't know when it was drafted, but it says, being immature for my age kept me out of a lot of trouble growing up. Disney Channel. And then it was like the little arrows, the greater than sign, drugs. This is actually something I would like to talk about. It's funny because when you are young, I feel like you want to be seen as mature. Like, I'm so mature. I'm almost an adult. But I've never cared to be mature or to be seen as mature. I've never cared to be seen as an old soul. I've always loved, even though when I was a kid, there's like kid movies, kid humor that I always thought was fucking stupid. And I don't know why other kids laughed at it so hard, because I felt like, am I not in on the joke? Like, what's so funny about someone tripping over a dog and all these like dumb things happening after that in a Disney movie, like that kind of shit never really made me laugh, but it made like other kids laugh. So that was probably one of the only things. And then also my forms of entertainment were like the teen shows when I was a young child, but I never wanted to be like seen as mature or an old soul. Like, I enjoyed the age I was at every age. When I was in high school, I want to say my freshman year of high school, I was in love with the Jonas Brothers and obsessed with Disney Channel. Like, Disney Channel was my life ever since I was a child. Even though I would watch MTV, I was always loyal to Disney Channel as well, especially like when they brought out Hannah Montana and Camp Rock and Sunny with a Chance, like all those teen shows, all the shows about like making music, being in the industry when I was a teenager. I loved them so much. I loved High School Musical. That started when I was in middle school, and my love for it kept growing with the sequels to that. And when I started high school, High School Musical 2 had just come out. I was in love with everything. I knew all the words to all the songs. I would annoy my classmates and my teachers and just sing like the "What Time Is It" song, all that little High School Musical songs. And people would just be like, oh my God, like, you're such a child, like, so immature. But I mean, I think, okay, I'm not going to say names, but people around me were like smoking weed, drinking, and partying like already in middle school. And honestly, I would say like my first time drinking underage was 8th grade maybe, but then like it was never a consistent thing. It was like one time, and then I didn't do it until like sophomore year of high school. But the thing is, like, I always had my own group of like little underdog nerdy friends. We talked about our love for the Jonas Brothers, Hannah Montana, you know, the little teeny bopper things. And our forms of fun were just like trying to go to those concerts and rewatching the episode of Hannah Montana with the Jonas Brothers on it. So I didn't start like partying or anything until I was a sophomore in high school. And that was because, wait, maybe I shouldn't say that. One time we were at someone's house, and if there's like a cut in this, it's because I had to like take out some names because I don't want to get people in trouble. But I can say this because this person was a teenager. So my brother was like, we're going to have a party. And I was like, what do you mean? What kind of party? Because at this time, like, he was partying and doing those things, and like we had kind of gone our separate ways, like when it came to weekends and stuff like that, because on the weekends I would stay home. I would be completely content staying home, watching all my Disney Channel marathons, and he would go out with his friends and party and do whatever he wanted, because obviously we were also raised where like the boys got to do whatever the fuck they wanted and girls had to like stay home and be innocent. Well, I didn't have to like be innocent. That was just me, you know? Like, I just have great feelings when it comes to Disney Channel and, you know, teen shows. Like, TV was my everything. I had music too. Music was my shit. So I'd watch TV or I'd just blast music in my room and like sing all day, and that's what made me happy. So sophomore year when my brother was like, yeah, we're gonna have a party, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, everyone's pitching in, we're getting beer. This feels so weird to talk about because I'm an adult now, and I'm like, oh my god, I could go to jail for underage drinking. But like, this was over 10 years ago, so I better not get in trouble for talking about this. Anyway, people came over. Actually, like, I lost one of my friends this night because this is how dramatic people in high school are. Like, oh my God, you're so cool. You and your friends are drinking. And then everyone ends up drinking in high school, you know? But like, when you and your friends come to that like first point of like partying and stuff, and one friend isn't ready for that, the one who does it first is kind of like villainized in a way, even though it's more of like a coming of age thing. So I was still like, you know, just I was 15. I was a 15-year-old. Any parent would be happy with their 15-year-old like being into things that were innocent and good, clean fun. Like, I had gone to a Jonas Brothers concert earlier that year. I was trying to get more tickets to the Jonas Brothers concerts like the summer after. I had met Demi Lovato the summer before, sophomore year. Like, everything I did was good, wholesome fun. And I don't know why other people my age, well, whatever, they wanted to be grown. But like, to me, acting young or like my age, even if it's like seen as like goofy or childlike, is better than trying to act mature, because I feel like people who want to be seen as mature or try to act so mature or tell people that they're mature are really the ones who are like mentally immature. Because like, who cares, you know? Like, you must be so mature if you try so hard to like make people think you're mature. Okay, I've said that word too many times now. Anyway, yeah, so the first time I really like was exposed to like grown up things like that was when I was a sophomore in high school. And it was my brother's fault because he and his friends were little partiers and they brought it to my home. I didn't go out looking for it. I would have just stayed innocent. And I still did stay innocent after that. Like, that did not stop me from going to meet and greets and even more concerts with Disney Channel stars. You know, I had a nice little balance. But if I could give anyone advice, like anyone with kids or anyone who's a kid right now, who's in middle school, high school, stay your age. Stay innocent, stay wholesome, like stay young as long as you can. You have all the time in the world to go drink, but like if you want to do it and your friends are doing it, oh shit, I'm not going to give that kind of advice because I don't want to get in trouble. Do things that you feel like you want to do. Don't be pressured into doing them, and don't be pressured into leaving your interests behind just because other people see them as like stupid or childish. Because honestly, I felt like I would have gotten into a lot more trouble had I not been into such wholesome interest. You know, I remember my brothers would be like, oh my God, she's so annoying, because my room was a loft, okay? And if you don't know what a loft is, it's not really like a full room. It was maybe at one point a full room, but when we bought the house, it had like the staircase railing around it with like some walls in there. There was a closet, a window, so it was a room except for like the railing. So my dad removed that railing and put like half walls. So when you're downstairs, you cannot see into my room. You couldn't see me changing, nothing like that. But when you're upstairs, you can see, like, and there are places like that I can change that I can't be seen at all, even if you're upstairs. So it was cool. So it still kept like the loft feel, but I had privacy. Well, the only thing that was an issue was when I would listen to music and I would sing and blast the music super loudly, super loud, whatever. My brothers would get annoyed because I was the only girl and I had two brothers, one older who is a year and 3 months older than I am, and then one younger who's like a year and 10 months younger than I am. They would get annoyed because they were too cool for school. And I would just be singing along to my High School Musical soundtrack. And I just remember like my parents being like, just leave her alone. I'd rather her be into that stuff and into the Jonas Brothers than to be like spending her time stressing over boys. And, you know, I don't think they really said this part, but I'm pretty sure they meant like they'd rather me be doing that than spending all my time sneaking around with guys and getting pregnant. And good thing for me, like I was into what I was into and I wasn't pressured to be into, not saying I wasn't pressured to be into other things, but like I wasn't pressured to let go of what I was into. So yeah, I didn't end up a teen mom and I didn't end up with a drug addiction. And maybe some people that I used to hang around with or people in my family didn't go that same route, but I'm really happy that I had like a healthy, wholesome outlet, and it kept me out of a lot of trouble, because I feel like if I didn't have that, I would have gotten bored and gotten a little bit more curious. I had a really busy schedule, okay? I didn't have time to get into much trouble, so I left the little partying things for the weekends if my brother wanted to throw a party or whatever. Maybe I got a little bit more wild as the years went on in high school, but I did stay young for quite some time, and I'm glad. And you know what? Still to this day, I do love some of the old Disney Channel shows. I don't watch the new ones because I'm not a child, but I watch the older ones every now and then because it's like very nostalgic for me. It brings me back to a good place when my brothers would go out, do their things on the weekends, and I was happy just staying home with my dad and my stepmom and watching movies, or even going to the little $5 movie theater, Temecula Cinema, and just enjoying a nice steak with some corn on the side. This probably makes no sense at all, but steak was like my favorite thing growing up. And if my dad wanted to like have a fun night or like have a good dinner with me, he would be like, I can make steak. And that was cool. I don't know. So all that kind of stuff just brings me back to like an amazing time in my life. And this is why I am also glad that people have been recommending some more teen shows for me to listen to? No, for me to watch, because I recently saw that Moesha, One-on-One, Sister, and oh my God, I can't remember which one else. Another show has been put on Netflix, and I'm extremely excited because aside from watching Disney Channel, I used to watch it was called a number of things. It was the N or noggin. And I'm just going to call it the N because that's how I remember it. But the N used to play like marathons of Moesha and one-on-one. And I love them. Like I would just watch them all the time. And I didn't realize that it was like, like a major part of culture until seeing everyone talk about it on Twitter when they released it, and they're telling everyone like, oh my God, you have to go watch it if you never saw this, because I just remember seeing it on UPN and just like it was normal to me to like watch those shows because I like how it wasn't a series in a sense. Is it a series? I don't know. I just liked how you could pick up any episode and not be completely lost. And obviously, style was amazing. All that style is in right now. I'm loving all the looks. And the music, they actually had some like real music in there. They mentioned Tupac a lot. Love that. And it's just so funny. The girl who plays Kim, hilarious. Wait, I was going to ask if that's her real name, but it's not. She did get a spinoff show with Monique as her mom. We love that. So that was the Parkers, I believe. Oh, the Parkers might be what's on Netflix. Anyway, I haven't really like gotten into a show that, there's like a huge storyline to like keep up with. Moesha, I'm just watching it again because I just love that show. But The Big Show, I've started watching. That's a teen show, and everyone has been telling me, like, you need to watch it, talk about it, live tweet about it. And I have been live tweeting about it. If you follow me on Twitter, every now and then I talk about how this is a Lucas and Peyton hate account, okay? My mutual, Kenya, if you don't listen or watch her videos on YouTube, it's As Told by Kenya. She's amazing. She always has like a hate campaign or like a campaign for someone to win an Oscar or whatever the case may be. She's hilarious. So if you hear me talk about like, this is a hate account, this is a hate campaign, that is completely inspired by her. She's so fucking funny with hers. Right now, I think hers is a Lin-Manuel Miranda hate campaign. And mine, because I'm watching One Tree Hill for the first time ever, and I'm only on season 1, mine is a hate campaign against Lucas and Peyton. Since I'm only on season 1, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I just want to give my thoughts on everything so far. First of all, Lucas and Nathan's dad is a piece of shit. Obviously what he did was wrong. Like, he just dipped on Lucas without ever meeting him or caring to meet him. But the fact that, like, Lucas lives in the same town as him, Lucas plays in the same team as his other son, like, Lucas is there right in front of you. You don't have to make any effort at all, and you're just still a dick to him, is ridiculous to me. Also, as the episodes go on, you're kind of like, okay, Lucas can like at least be cordial towards him, because I feel like the energy you give is the energy you get. But then again, it's like not up to him. He's still a child on this show, technically. Nathan, he's obviously like the bad guy, but the writers are making us think that he's terrible. They just have to like give him a storyline there. And I heard that he gets better. I already see him getting better like towards the end of this season. And it's funny because the roles have reversed. Like, Lucas is horrible. I fucking hate him. And of course, at the beginning, I loved him and I felt bad for him. Like, the poor kid, with his single mom, and he just has his uncle as his father figure, and you just want to root for him. But then he got a little taste of that popularity and he became an asshole to everyone. But like, at least Nathan is like outwardly an asshole. Lucas does that shit that I fucking hate, where he pretends like he's sweet and innocent and an intellectual and would never hurt a soul and cares about everyone deeply as if they're his best friend. But then he goes and I don't know if he sleeps with, but he hooks up with his girlfriend's best friend. And I'm not done yet. I'm going to get to her, but I'm still going in on Lucas right now. Gets with his girlfriend's best friend who turned him down. And the reason she turned him down is just because she wanted to like not have anything serious, and he wanted a serious girlfriend. And so when she turned him down, he was like, okay, fine. I'm going to go for the girl that really wants me, which is Brooke. Love her. She's gorgeous. We love Brooke. I totally blanked on what her real name is, but Sophia Bush. If you've ever seen John Tucker Must Die, it's like the gorgeous vegan girl on that. Yes, we love Sophia Bush. Anyway, she's like in love with Lucas, is all about him, doesn't really like get into serious relationships, but she feels differently about Lucas, and he makes it seem like he's committed to her. And her best friend is, oh my God, Peyton. Peyton is her best friend. Sorry, I keep forgetting names because I'm new to the show. But Peyton is the one that turned Lucas down because she didn't want anything serious after she broke up with her boyfriend because she was into Lucas, and her boyfriend was Nathan, who was Lucas's half brother. Oh my God. If you've never seen this, I am so sorry. It's not even me this time who's like all over the place. This show is all over the place, but you must watch it if you've never seen it. So Lucas is terrible because he just gets around with all these girls while he's acting committed to one girl. It's annoying. And he was trying to get someone's girlfriend. Stupid. And his not girlfriend, but the girl that he's into is Peyton. And Peyton, when we first see them on the show, she is in a relationship with Nathan, who is Lucas's half brother. They share a dad. The dad only stuck around Nathan's life, and Lucas just was raised by his mom and had the support of his bio dad's brother. Well, that Peyton girl likes Lucas. She dumps her boyfriend to be with Lucas. Lucas is like, cool, let's be in a relationship. Like I said, she turns him down. And what does she do when he starts dating her best friend? She fucking sneaks around with him. Like, they just sneak around all first season, and they're completely fine with fucking with her best friend and breaking her heart. Both of them are doing it. Both of them know that there's a best friendship that they are going to ruin if she finds out, and they don't care. And Peyton is terrible to me because Peyton was the one who was in a relationship when the show first started, and she did not respect her own relationship. She kept sneaking around with Lucas. And then when her best friend is in a relationship with Lucas, she doesn't respect her best friend's relationship. She's sneaking around with Lucas. And then, what else? And then she tries to befriend Lucas's lifelong friend, who's a girl. And she makes it seem like she could be a good friend to her, but what do you know? She ends up in these really weird, like, flirtatious situations with that girl's boyfriend, who is Nathan, which is Peyton's ex. Okay, I'm going to stop explaining there. Long story short, these people are terrible. Peyton and Lucas. Okay? And I hate them so much. Also, I really love Nathan's mom. Nathan has a shitty dad who's an asshole to literally everyone, including him. But his mom is amazing. His mom, when she ran into Lucas's mom, which is her husband's baby mama, who she's never gotten to meet in person, she was just like kind of trying to reach out, but it's awkward when like the other party acts a certain way, or you don't know if like you're overstepping your boundaries or how they're going to react, because honestly, in that situation, a lot of women are bitter and you don't know how they're going to respond to you. So it's like, why even reach out, you know? Especially because it's like not really your situation. It's not really your business. If something happened before you were in the picture, and you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? And you can tell that's how she is, because she's like a good-hearted woman. She, behind closed doors, tells her husband, like, why can't you just talk to him? Like, he lives in her town. What's the issue? And she just had it with him not wanting to like meet her halfway. So she tries to go and meet his baby mama. And she's just like, whatever your past is, whatever your history is with my husband, it doesn't have to be our history. And I was like, that's amazing. Love that. That's the type of person I am. Like, I don't want conflict where there doesn't have to be, but some people are just really bitter and petty. Like, pettiness comes from being bitter, and I'm just like, oh God, dude, like, get over it. So then when people give me that energy, I give them that energy right back. And so sometimes it's just better for me to like not say anything to them at all. And I try to just let people come to me, hopefully giving them the benefit of the doubt that they will mature one day, or not even mature, like that they will just heal in their own time and be chill. So I totally love Nathan's mom for that. And I do love Lucas's mom, because I said like Nathan's mom might be bitter, but more so Lucas's mom might be bitter because she felt like she was cheated out of a life that she deserved, instead of being a single mom. And it's not how they should act, but it's just normal. People are human, and that's just what happens when you have strong feelings and you feel like you've been wronged. You're going to be bitter, you're going to be petty. But luckily, Lucas's mom wasn't like that. She was totally receptive to the other woman's energy. Sorry, I have to say the other woman because I don't remember her name. Anyway, they become cordial with each other, and then they actually become friends. And I love that. I love them. But then towards the end of this season, I find out that I don't love Lucas's mom so much. And you know why? Because she did that tale as old as time thing that some parents do when they aren't with the other parent, and they decide to either raise the child alone or do it with someone else. I don't know. But what ends up happening is that Lucas's mom actually pushed away his dad. Like, his dad offered, well, okay, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I'm only at like a certain point in the show right now. And as of right now, it's showing that Lucas's biological dad wanted part-time, joint custody with the mom, and wanted to be in Lucas's life. But she pushed him away and said no, and didn't allow him to be a part of Lucas's life. But instead of like being honest with her son and saying, it might just be better for us this way, she allowed her son to hate his dad. And aside from who his dad is, like, yes, he's a piece of shit to everyone. But if you just, outside looking in, just take a step away, that's kind of fucked up. Like, you see your son hurting and doing everything to like get back at his dad for not being there. But like, you could at least be like, hey, he wanted to be here, but I just didn't feel like you were safe to have him around. So that's why you have your uncle. You should not hate him. Like, form your own opinion of him. I'm not going to influence that. I mean, the mom seems really sweet. She doesn't seem like the person who's like telling him, fuck your dad. He's a piece of shit. He didn't want you. We got this. Like, I mean, yeah, they got this. But she doesn't seem like that type of mom who is like coaching her son on how to feel towards his dad. But she could have at least like eased his pain a little bit and explained to him the situation, so he wasn't like maybe blaming himself. Kids react differently than adults do, and sometimes you have to like talk to them and help them through their feelings. And I feel like his mom failed to do that, but I'm only so far in season 1. So those are my thoughts. I know I said I wasn't going to go too much into that, but there's just a lot of like storylines going on at the same time. So the next thing I want to talk about, oh my God, I'm so unoriginal sometimes. This, I think, was from Twitter. Yes, it was. There was a tweet that said, what were you known for in high school? And people were supposed to quote tweet it. So since we're talking about high school shows, I thought I'd mention this. I retweeted it and I said being loud, gossiping, telling too much truth, and booty. I will explain further. Being loud, just because I'm a loud person, everyone in my family's loud. Well, my family is really loud. My little brother doesn't think he's loud, but especially when he drinks, he gets loud. The only quiet person in my family, like my immediate family, is my older brother. He's a Pisces. They're soft spoken. They stay in their cave all day. They overthink their lives. They're just sweet souls. But my dad, he, like me, is a Gemini. His birthday's the day before mine. Loud, social, bubbly, loves to laugh. But at home, he can chill, but when he's out and social, he's social and loud. And that's how I am. Like, we are life of the party when we're around the party. Get it? So, yeah, I'm always kind of loud. But, when I was younger, I noticed that I was louder because I was more carefree, like, didn't have any responsibilities. It was socially acceptable for like teens and kids to just be a little bit more loud. And as an adult, you're expected to be more reserved in public settings. And especially as a parent, I don't know, I just chilled out so much when I became a parent. And it may not seem like that, but like in person, you'll be like, okay, she's not as crazy. Like, I can vent, I can get things out in a healthy way online, creatively, but in person, I'm a lot more chill. I'm not as loud and obnoxious. Okay. So then the second one is gossiping. Now I'm going to explain something. Gossiping is not spreading rumors. I don't spread rumors. I don't spread lies. I don't make up lies. I don't even lie. Like, if you know anything about me, my biggest pet peeve is someone who lies, because I just don't understand. I feel like people lie for attention, but let's stay on track. So gossiping to me is just like talking about information that I found out about people, or giving someone like a heads up about something. I don't know. Whatever's just going on, current events, pop culture, what I'm doing right now. This is gossip. Okay. So I gossiped all the time. I was always like, oh my God, guess who showed up to the party this weekend? You'll never guess. Yep. Oh my God. Guess what happened? Yep. Yeah, they got in a fight. Everyone saw it. Yeah. Oh my God. Guess who okay. There are some things I want to say on here, but I can't because my dad probably listens to this. Guess who I kissed this weekend? And I ended up being nominated for and winning. Everything I do is a win. Let's just look at it like that. I won Biggest Gossip senior year for senior superlatives, but I came in almost like tie for most dramatic or like drama queen or whatever. But the people of the yearbook were rude. They were white. I'll get to that in a minute. But they're just rude as fuck. And they're like, oh, well, it was between these two and you can't have two senior superlatives. So we just chose this one for you. So I won Biggest Gossip and I could have won Most Dramatic, but either one is me. Anyway, someone was like, I don't even think you gossip. Like, you literally just tell everyone about your own life. And I'm like, I know, right? But no, I do gossip. But I was watching this TikTok and it was like, they said that like people who gossip are the type of people who are just literally like doing others a favor and warning them about like bad people or like people with bad intentions, something like that, something of the sort. And I was like, cool, then I am doing a service to others. And I posted the picture of my yearbook where I took that photo. It was pretty embarrassing, but I'm not afraid to show it because the fact that I am like almost 10 years older than I was in that photo and my face is slimmer. I can't see my body in it, but my face is like way more attractive than young me. oh my God, that is like such a flex right there. Not gonna lie. I love it because, like I was saying in my Instagram stories today, you know, some of us have embarrassing throwbacks, some of us don't. But I'd be even more embarrassed if my throwback looked normal or looked really good and my present day photo or my present day self did not reflect that. And I just didn't look good, you know? I'm not saying anything about anyone, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm really grateful for always evolving and always outdoing myself as I get older. The other thing I said was like telling the truth I was known for. And then in my notes, I wrote down telling too much truth because one time there was this guy. I'm going to say names. Honestly, I'll say names. Okay. And if you're listening, you know who you are. I'm not going to say last names. I'll just say first names. So there's a guy named Kyle that I was like dealing with my senior year. Okay. The Valley Girl voice comes out. There was a guy named Kyle that I was dealing with my senior year. We were never really officially dating. We were just like a thing. So he was supposed to ask me to prom. And what happened was he ended up asking this other girl from a different school. No hard feelings. And I was like, why did you end up asking her? He's like, oh my God, I really like her. Like, she's real. And I was like, I'm real. Like, I'm the realest person there is. Like, what you see is literally what you get. And I will tell you everything. And he was like, yeah, but you're too real. And I was like, oh, when the fuck is that a bad thing? So apparently, I was too real. I told too much truth, but like, who cares? It was TMI, but you know, I'd rather know everything than know nothing, right? So I was known for telling too much truth, but it also came in handy. Like, it wasn't always a bad thing because people in my classes would tell me like, no, if there was something that happened and like you want to know what really fucking went down and you want to know the truth and you want to hear it from someone who has like no reason to lie, ask Priscilla. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. I can't remember. They're all just a blur of faces. But yeah, I remember someone in one of my, I think like my English class senior year was like, if you want to find something out, ask Priscilla. She will tell you the whole truth. And I'm like, exactly. Because I have like no reason to lie. Like, this is high school. It's not going to go with us forever. Like, why would I lie? Who cares? Which is like another reason I was kind of like a bad person in high school because like I didn't care about other people's feelings as long as I was like honest and real, you know? I'm not like that. I'm honest and real, but like I still care about people's feelings and I don't disrespect people unprovoked, you know? So, yeah, I was known for telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth and a little bit more than what the truth needed to be described as. Yeah. And then the last one was obviously booty. I have always been known for having like a little bubble butt. But not like a small one that like is noticeably like, you know, defined for my body. And I went to a predominantly white school. Now, some people will be like, no, it's not. We had black people. We had Hispanic people. Oh, sorry. Hispanic like relates to countries where they speak Spanish. So that was incorrect. But you know what I mean? Like, we had brown people. You know, there wasn't only white people. Like, yeah, Brian, I get it. But it was a white suburb and anyone who was of color was highly influenced by white people, okay? Hence me. Hence why the Valley Girl voice comes out. And like, I literally used to speak like this, like all throughout elementary school and middle school and high school. And it still comes out sometimes. But right now it's not really like that because I'm trying to stay quiet while my family sleeps because it is like 1:21 in the morning right now. I was known for having a little booty because one, I wasn't as skinny as everyone else. Like I ranged from like a size 1 freshman year to like a size 5 senior year, 5'7" senior year. Like, and you know, I always wore dresses. So like you could see that my booty was poking and everyone else was just kind of like not really well endowed in that area unless they were like another person of color. at that school, but I mostly hung around white kids, especially because that's like all that was there, unless I was like gonna be a wannabe chola and hang out with that group. There weren't any other choices. So yeah, I was like with the Lowell Hollister and Abercrombie girls. And of course, we were young and they were really, really thin. And also, like, having a bigger butt was not cool or in style yet. We were still in like the Lindsay Lohan phase in the beginning. Well, not really Lindsay Lohan, but like Megan Fox in the beginning of high school, you know, and then towards the end of high school, that's when Keeping Up with the Kardashians was like huge. And actually, it was freshman year of high school when I discovered the first season of it, when it actually had just aired. And I was like, oh my God, she has a butt. Like, oh my God. Like, that's when my confidence grew a little bit more, because Kim was like more her normal self. And obviously she had a butt, like she had a nice butt, but it wasn't like the fake one that she has now. And I was just like, oh, whatever. Like, she has her own show. People love her. People think she's gorgeous. Like, I have that too. So cool. I embraced it. But like, yeah. Now, I mean, mine's just like normal compared to everyone else, because everyone else is either like focusing on trying to build a booty or getting their butts done. So yeah, back in 2009, 2010, and 2011, I was known for that. But had I gone to a school in a different area, maybe no one would have noticed. So I think the whole theme around this episode is just like high school. And I'm kind of digging that because I was watching Glee. I'm watching all these high school shows. And what else? Oh, yeah, that thing came up with my senior superlative from high school. So like everything right now is just like revisiting those fun years. So I think I want to talk about how people I went to high school with turned out. Not all in a bad way. Some of them, honestly, the coolest fucking thing you will ever see. Like, for those of you who are in high school right now, just take mental notes of like the popular. Well, okay, it might be a little bit different because Gen Z culture is more accepting. They're less like cliquey and stuff like that, you know. But everything was like super cheesy, cliques, and God, everyone hated on each other for every little thing when I was in high school. But anyway, what I was going to say is like the coolest thing I've noticed is all the underdogs and the ones that like no one knew, no one like, at least no one knew by like first name basis, you know, like you would say, oh, do you remember so-and-so? And then say their last name. Like, oh yeah, they're in my class. Okay, those type of people, those are the ones who came out on top. Those are the ones who are doctors now. Those are the ones who are popular on social media. Those are the ones who are fucking smart as hell. Those are the ones who actually have careers and are just like living their best lives. Those are the ones with really far left views like myself. And the ones who were like popular or like party people that like were mean. I don't know. I can't explain it, but those are the ones who peaked in high school. And okay, don't think I'm talking about you if you're listening to this. Odds are, if we follow each other on social media and if I like your photos, then I'm probably not talking about you. The ones who peaked in high school are the ones that definitely looked better back in high school, definitely acted like more themselves in high school, I want to say. And now they're like following these like weird culty lifestyles, I want to say. I'll start with the elephant in the room. MLMs. If you don't know anything about MLMs, MLM stands for multi-level marketing. In other words, a pyramid scheme, without being called a pyramid scheme, because in the United States, pyramid schemes are illegal, and they will tell you that when you call them a pyramid scheme, but don't worry, they're still a pyramid scheme. So I've noticed the people who were absolute cunts to me growing up. Fuck. Let's hope I don't get, well, whatever. They were cunts to me growing up. Like, let's be real here. Okay. They were fake. I would invite them to a party at my house and they'd be like, oh yeah, for sure. And then they talk shit right after that. Well, why would I fucking go? Okay. So that's why you're there fucking selling Monat or Monet or whatever the fuck that dumbass, overpriced ass, make your hair fall out of your scalp ass shampoo is. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to start calling you guys out. If you sell Monat or Monet, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to call it Monet. If you sell Monet, take this personally, please. Take it personally. Feel insecure about what you're doing in life right now, because I'm about to drag you. Not too hard. Just I hope it like plants that seed inside of you and you decide to stop selling it because you're embarrassing yourself. Okay. Not me. I don't get embarrassed though. So like I can do anything and not embarrass myself when other people are saying like, oh my God, she's embarrassing herself. I'm not. I don't get embarrassed. My confidence is too high. My self-esteem is too high. I have a God complex. Okay. So let's get started. So all the terrible people who definitely peaked in high school for some reason are selling MLMs, pyramid schemes. And normally I wouldn't have a problem with this. Like, so back in the day, our grandparents probably sold Tupperware. Fine. They had little parties. Their friends would come over. They would sell, get a discount. Cool. Tupperware was fucking legit, like strong. It held up to the name. It wasn't too expensive, but it was good shit, you know? And then other people would just kind of like be inspired to want to throw a party and sell themselves. And it wasn't like how it is now. Like, I remember my stepmom did like candle parties when I was a kid, and she wasn't pressured to like get people on her team and do all this crazy shit. It was just like, hey, you have a party, you're going to get discounts, especially if people buy this much. And then other people just willingly want to throw a party too. And the incentives were mostly just discounts on the inventory or whatever. Not even inventory. It was just like discounts on like products, because you didn't have to have the inventory there. You would have the catalogs, and the person who actually like worked for them, they were the ones that had the inventory, or like they would just put in the orders and then you would deliver to the people. But I never remember like them pressuring my mom or stepmom like into joining their team. It was just like, oh, hope you had a fun party. Like, send your friends to me. I'll do another party. That kind of stuff, which was still like annoying, but like nowhere as near as predatory as it is now, especially with social media, where like you cannot get away from people unless you block them on every possible social media platform. And then even then you have to like search them in order to block them. It's just a whole mess. And like, what if you search them to block them and accidentally like click on something that notifies them, and then you're like stuck in an awkward position? Because then they'll know that you were like looking them up, and then all of a sudden they'll be blocked and be like, oh my God, what did I do to her? Like, really nothing. I just don't want to deal with you and your little pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes, MLMs, it's all the same shit. If you're still confused, think of Monet, the little hair shampooing shit that people sell all the time. And they'll even message you, be like, hey girl, I totally love your Instagram, and I just think you would be perfect for this because you would just like work at home and you have like a lot of influence, and like, we're not distributors, we're influencers. No, the fuck you're not. You're not an influencer if the amount of people you follow are more than the amount of people that follow you, or if you follow the same amount of people that follow you, and it's only because you do the whole follow back type thing because you're trying to get people on your page for your pyramid scheme. Okay, thank you for coming to my whisper talk. Okay, so yeah, that brand, Young Living, what's the other, doTERRA, all those little like essential oil things that you can't buy in the store, but you have to like buy from a person, and then they'll tell you like, oh yeah, I don't have that on hand, or I can order it for you. And then they take like all your information and they just like keep harassing you to get you to join their team so you can get discounts. And then you think it's just for discounts, but they're literally sucking you in to buy inventory. and invest in yourself and become a boss, babe, and invest in the company and be your own boss. And then next thing you know, you've spent thousands of dollars on inventory. You have to figure out how to shill it to the next naive person. Herbalife. I've done that before. Like, I remember my cousin was selling that and I bought it from her because like the shakes were good, but then I had to fill out all this crazy information like just to buy it. And I was like, why? I can't just like give you the money and that's it. Like, they just kept harassing me. So I don't even, it works, all those shit, all that, everything, anything that like you need a distributor to sell to you instead of just going to the store and picking it up or like ordering it online without like this weirdo shit. That's a pyramid scheme or an MLM. So my issue with it is their predatory like sales tactics. I am a military spouse, annoying, but like that's what happens when I was in the army before and I got out of the army, but my husband was still in the army, So I'm stuck like with a bunch of military spouses and see them on like the Facebook pages, and all they do is try and sell their products that they were sucked into buying or try and get people to work under them on their team, because when you get people on your team, you get bonuses, you make money off of what those people buy or what those people sell. It's always like a variation of that. So these companies don't really focus so much on selling products. Like, that's great. You do have like quotas to meet and stuff. You do better in the company if you get people to sign up to work under you on your team, because that just means that there's another person at the bottom investing money that's gonna go to the top, and maybe one day it'll all trickle down and it'll pay off for you at the bottom, or at least until you get someone underneath you. And they like to prey on single parents, stay-at-home parents, mostly women. So I'm gonna say moms. Like, they like to prey on stay-at-home moms. Oh my God, this is like, had I not been in the army, I probably could have been sucked into this, because like being a service member and then seeing how the wives were like from the outside looking in, I got to see how ridiculous this all was. So by the time I just became a military spouse, I was just like, no thanks, I'm good. But it is annoying because anytime someone's like, hey, who's hiring, or like, how can I make extra money? People be like, oh my God, girly, like, just DM me. I have a great opportunity for you. Like, I'm getting my Lexus, because I just make so much money. So it's just that kind of stuff. And they prey on like, oh my God, dude, vulnerable people. Like, people will just be fresh out of having like a C-section, like with twins and shit, and just like not even maybe complaining about their bodies, but then they'll be like, hey girly, want to join my team? I can sell you some plexus and you can lose the lbs. Also, they were fucking posting like some weird ass shit about like how their product can help you recover from coronavirus. I don't know if that's true, but my friend Jasmine, shout out to Jasmine, she had mentioned that she saw some bullshit like that, and there was like a discount code called Corona. So they are fucking weirdos. Like, they have no morals, they have no shame. I mean, neither do I, but like, still, they will do anything to get someone to invest money into their company so they can make more money and sell their shitty products at triple times the price of what they're worth. Yeah, I'm just really proud that I didn't get sucked into selling them. And there are some people I went to high school with who I felt like were above that, right? Like, I just feel like they were smarter than that. So the ones I went to high school with who got sucked into selling MLM pyramid scheme type shit are the ones who like became moms either at a super young age or just like at a normal age, but stayed in our hometown. And if you don't know, my hometown is Marietta, California. I lived in Temecula for some time, but I lived in Marietta in my first like early years of my life. Had a gap where I lived in Temecula, lived in Marietta for like the rest of my life until I left. And moved to like LA County for some time before I joined the Army. So Marietta is my hometown. That's what I claim. Graduated from Marietta Valley High School. Thank you very much. 701 students. I was the N1 because I almost didn't graduate until last minute. So like the people who stayed in our hometown and just like started their families there, and maybe just became stay-at-home moms, they're the ones who like suddenly like, hey, yeah, so like I never thought I would be into like this direct sales thing, but like Monet, whatever, just makes my hair grow super long and luscious, even though I just had a baby, and we know that having babies can help your hair grow super long and luscious. I just had a lot of hopes for certain people, and I feel like because they didn't go and see the real world outside of our little conservative bubble in a nice little white suburb, they all kind of followed each other and are just doing like what everyone else is doing. Everyone's a family photographer where they don't photograph any families of color, and all of the presets just wash out everyone's skin, but that's okay because as long as it makes their blue eyes pop, that's all we care about, right? And then if they don't do that, they are just doing the direct sales thing, or they'll do both. And oh my God, this is going to sound like an attack on certain people, but I promise you, this is like if you left your hometown and you were to see it from like where I'm at or where other people in the world at, you would know that this is just like a hilarious stereotype that happens to be a coincidence and happens with like everyone who decided to just stay in their hometown. So they do the direct sales things, and then they start like posting like, oh yeah, hey guys, like this is how I apply my essential oils. It's just like they lose a sense of reality when they start doing this like pyramid scheme shit. And honestly, it's like Stepford Wife type shit. That's all I can say. They wear the baggy dresses from Target. I don't know. I'm not really going to talk shit about them anymore because that's the lifestyle they want to live, and maybe they're completely happy and fulfilled. But I will say that I'm fucking pissed that these MLMs are preying on vulnerable people during a pandemic, and now these stay-at-home moms feel like now more than ever they need that extra income because people are losing their jobs and maybe they want to help contribute. Part of me wants, I'll always make fun of them, but then like deep down I do feel bad because during times like this is when those people start preying on vulnerable people, and it's just like they have no other choice because you can't even get like a job right now, and the rules are always changing with like quarantine shit, and maybe your children are too young, and there's no childcare right now that you can trust. So they're like, all right, let me just make money while staying at home, invest a few $100 or a few $1,000, buy this inventory. I have a ton of moms who follow me. They'll definitely buy it. And then guess what? Those other moms, they don't have the fucking money to buy those overpriced products, especially during a pandemic. They're all trying to get into something that they can sell to other people. And then this leaves a lot more people in debt than how they even started. Like some people probably didn't even have debt when they started, and now they do because they racked up a bill and they can't sell these products. And there's actually like a Vice documentary on LuLaRoe. Is it LuLaRoe? Yeah. Those ugly, hideous leggings. And they tell you like the ins and outs of it all. Also, Tiffany Ferg on YouTube does some great MLM videos. Go watch that. If you attended my high school and you didn't get sucked into an MLM, I'm proud of you. And you're my kind of people. Just putting that out there. Also, if you're from my past and you feel like we should be friends, but I'm like, nah, because you're a conservative Republican and you treated me like shit when we were in high school, and you kind of just treated me like a second class citizen, and like there were a lot of microaggressions that now I see is like, dude, you were pretty racist to me. Like we don't need to be friends. If you're doing well, cool. I'm doing well, we can do well separately. I tweeted this the other day and I guess it resonated with a lot of people. So I just wanted to reiterate that you can like wish well for someone and be happy and want them to be happy, but want to have happiness separately. Like you may have contributed to each other's, I don't know, character, like to how they are now as a person in some kind of way. But it doesn't mean you have to remain like friends. And I'm bringing this up just because like I have recently dealt with some people like this who saw us as friends, I guess. But looking back, I'm like, we were never friends. Like you were horrible to me. I mean, of course, I was not a great person, but like, what? Like, I just am confused as to like why these people would still like me and still consider me a friend and still like want to, I don't know, maybe hang out with me one day, chat with me. I don't know. I'm just like, why? Like, we have nothing in common. We argued about shit that's like important shit. Like, why? You know? There's no need to rekindle everything. If we don't get along and we completely argue about every single fucking thing, then we don't need to rekindle shit. Like, I'm happy you're happy and I'm happy too. And also, there are people who have completely different views than I do, but like if they're not commenting on my shit and arguing with me, odds are I like don't even realize it, don't notice it, and don't feel the need to like do anything about it. Like I just leave it being like, okay, yeah, you can still follow me, cool, whatever. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I think this last segment will be called TikTok Talk. Unoriginal once again, cheesy once again, but TikTok Talk will be talking about notable TikToks I've seen from this past week. The first one I want to talk about is one, I don't have it handy right now. I just have it written in my notes, but there's a creator on TikTok who I think she is, or her family's from Pakistan. And she has like light skin. I want to say she's like lighter than I am, maybe my skin color, but you can't really ever tell with people because phones always make everyone look a lot more pale than they are. Her hair is dark. She has very dark and like thick eyebrows. Well, maybe not thick, but you can tell she's not like white, right? She was talking about how people will leave comments on her videos and saying like, oh, but you're white though. And she'll be like, no, like I understand I have light skin. I mean, yes, white refers to the color of your skin when we're talking about race. Yes, there are white Latinos, there are white Asians, like there are white indigenous people, white natives. I don't know what people prefer, but the thing is, growing up, a lot of us who may like be seen as like white passing. I say white passing, but I know it's like white. Okay. A lot of people who may be seen as, I don't consider myself that, even like with new age information, because like I consider my mom a white Latina. Okay. Like, okay. She's white. She has freckles. She has like light brown to hazel eyes. Her natural hair color, even as a child, was like a lighter brown, like my daughter's. Like to me, if I didn't know her, and I would have just seen her, I would not assume she's anything but a white woman. Like, and this happens to her all the time. People assume she doesn't know Spanish. They think she's just a white lady and that was her first language. So she'll like stunt on people and be like, oh yeah, I heard you talking shit. Anyway, what I'm saying is that a lot of us, though, like we may be light skinned, like none of our features say that we're white. You know what I'm saying? Like my natural hair color is like black, darkest brown black. My natural eye color is black unless the sun is in them, and then they're just dark brown in the sun. Like my eyebrows always been bushy, thick eyebrows. I don't have non-existent lips. I don't have like a small little button nose. I have the broken bridge that a lot of like people from Mexico have. I just don't look like a Caucasian like person. I don't know how to explain it, but like, especially growing up as a kid, I was just like your average like Mexican looking kid. But the thing is, like, as certain features have become more popular and mainstream, instead of just like blonde hair and blue eyes, now people of color, if we're like lighter skinned or whatever, like even like brown people have been called white or been assumed to be white, because white people see our traits as trendy. And there are a lot of like, if you go on Instagram, you will see, especially in like the UK, oh my gosh, their tanning is insane. And then they'll like dye their hair jet black and like fill in their brows thicker and get lip injections and like all these things. So now it's like all the white women who were just like blondes with pale skin and blue eyes have all the features of someone who is maybe, you know, from the Middle East and has identified as like a person of color. Or even like, I know some white women who dye their hair black, are obsessed with like tanning, spray tanning, like want to be seen as like a Latina. And it just makes me very uncomfortable, especially because it's like, no, it's just like, you are the reason why people are like, oh, you're white. Yeah. Girls on TikTok are like, no, you're white though. And I'm like, no, the fuck, no. What? Please visit me in my hometown. Like, let's jump in a time machine. I have never just like been seen as the white girl. Like, there were microaggressions. I was the whitewashed Mexican, but it was always known that I was Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was a white person, I would have never been called a fucking spick. Like, come on, dude. Like, there were girls who moved to my hometown from Orange County when I was in high school, and like, for whatever reason, they didn't like me because some drama happened, high school shit. But like, the first time I had ever heard the slur spick was from them, because they called me that. But like, they didn't grow up with me knowing like, oh, she's the white Mexican, like, you know, she's whitewashed, she's cool. They just saw me as another fucking Mexican, and so I was a spick in their eyes. You know, like, I grew up always having other like Mexican people coming up to me trying to speak to me in Spanish, and I eventually had to learn like, oh, no sé, because I don't know Spanish. You know, I know that a lot of people are like, oh my God, okay. Like, I saw on Twitter that people were like dissecting this girl's TikTok and saying like, oh, but you are white though, like you benefit from white privilege. Of course we do. Of course. I have people in my family who are undeniably like brown, dark skin, according to like Mexican families. There is a lot of colorism. Like, I understand I am lighter, you know, so I have privilege because of colorism, and because I was raised in Marietta, California, and I went to the California Distinguished School District, and I was offered great education at a public school, because we all know how public schools work with like property taxes and funding, and there were just great programs at our school. And, you know, like, because I enunciate and don't have an accent and speak a certain way with white influences that showed in my style and just, you know, everything, I have that privilege of being able to blend in, right? So I would have friends who were white, and like, maybe we were good friends, and they'd be like, oh, this family member is racist, but they would be fine with me because I wasn't like the Mexicans that they saw in their head, you know? So we do recognize like the privileges, because there are levels to this privilege shit, right? But we're allowed to be fucking annoyed at how white people are now like using all those things that they once made fun of us for as like a trend, you know, and just putting it on. So that's my rant on that. The next TikTok, and this is going to be the last one for the segment, and then we will move on to the end of our podcast, is there was this TikTok of this girl who was saying that she had shown her skills on like social media, like I guess they called it investigating, and she showed it to her professor, and for some reason the Department of Defense and the FBI were offering her a job in cybersecurity. I can't remember what the job was, but they offered her a job because of how well she was able to like find shit out online. And it just made me think about how, okay, so I had a rideshare driver, and I had actually gotten him like 2 or 3 times. It was like when I would be going to Honolulu, and Honolulu is like the big city where we're at. So it's not a big city, but we're on an island. So anyway, this guy would just like take calls going that way because like he worked that way and stuff. And long story short, he is in the FBI, or says he was in the, you know, he might just be saying it for a good story, but he sticks to the story. So he claims he's in the FBI, and for legal reasons, this is a joke. Okay, FBI, don't come for me. But he was telling me what he does basically, and they go undercover, they investigate. They said they find out a lot of shit on people's social media, like before they arrest people. And I was like, what? And then I was like, oh yeah, like and he was telling me about how they caught some guy like on Facebook because of something. I was like, oh, did you do that thing where you plugged in the photo to oh, should I tell you my secrets? Fuck it. Okay. I was just like, oh, did you guys do that thing where you like took the photo, plugged it into iPhoto, and then iPhoto tells you exactly what camera phone it was taken from and the coordinates of like the photo? And he was like, no, we did it a different way. He was like, but I can't believe you know about that. And I was like, you know, I do my share of investigating. And then I like started to tell him about everything that I know about investigating on our trip. And he was just like, you are really good. Like, you're really smart. And he was like, you should honestly apply. Like, you could do this certain job that he was talking about. I was like, I would love to. Actually, I would love to have my own like private investigating like business, you know, maybe do some Craigslist ads. Maybe not Craigslist because that's kind of dangerous, but like help people find shit out if they need to. And he was like, well, you could definitely apply for this job with your skills. And he was like, do you have a degree in this? And I was like, no, like, this is what's so annoying. Why do I have to have a degree? Like, I am good. I'm naturally amazing at finding shit out because the type of person I am is like, I don't care if it doesn't affect me. I just have to know, like, even if it's like how a sandwich is made, like, I just have to know all the ins and outs. I love just absorbing knowledge in any way possible. So like, that's why I'm able to find shit out, because I have the patience to sit there and like read through anything to find out answers to something, you know? So he was like, okay, here's how you apply. I didn't apply because FBI is like, they arrest people, right? Like, I don't, like, it's fuck 12. For legal reasons, that's a joke. But like, right? I don't know. So I just never tried to apply. That was my last TikTok for TikTok Talk. And now we're just going to talk about plans for the upcoming week. But first, I want to start something here. And a way to end my podcast episodes is going to be talking about something I'm proud of myself for doing. Talking about something that I will accomplish, even if it's something small like putting laundry away. And I will advise you guys to do the same thing. And then we can continue to do it every week. And hopefully putting this out there allows it to happen and allows more of that good energy to come back to us and keeps us going. So something I'm proud of myself for doing was actually starting my podcast. So last week I was up late at night filming a video for work, and I had not planned to do a podcast, but something told me, like, fuck it, you're already awake. It's gonna take a while for you to fall asleep. Might as well just try doing a podcast. I did it and I fell in love with it. And instead of just like keeping it and being embarrassed of like how amateur it is, I was like, fuck this. Like, I am a professional. I can do anything I want. I excel at everything I do. Like, honestly, even if I'm like, oh, like I just dip my toes in first, like I always knock it out of the park eventually. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to edit it and treat this like it's a podcast episode. Like, I'm serious about it, and put that energy out there and convince myself to keep doing it. So I did it all. I got myself on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and that may not seem like a big deal to some people because it's like, okay, duh, standard. They let anyone, but like, you don't understand. Sometimes I do feel like, fuck, this is going to take so much time. So like, why bother when I can just throw it up on my YouTube channel? And if people care, they'll go ahead and listen to it or watch it. But I was like, no. We're not half-assing this. This is my brand. We are going to take good care of this. And I went full out and I figured out how to do everything on my own. I got some help from other people like after the fact. But I just started doing my little research and figured out how the fuck to do it. Even when they would deny me, I kept retrying and I got it done. So my podcast is now like live and we're keeping it going. And I'm so proud of myself because I stuck to my planner and I told myself, hey, you are going to start posting on Mondays because I want everyone to start off with a great week, just hearing someone else talk with your morning coffee. I always struggle to start my Mondays, especially Monday mornings. And it's just like, fuck, dude, there better be a good YouTube video to watch while I have to do all this stuff, or like a podcast to listen to. And sometimes people don't deliver. Like, for some reason, I feel like people don't actually post on Mondays. So I was like, no, I am always looking for shit on Mondays to like entertain me. So let me just provide that for someone else. So I decided, yep, that's what we're going to do. Put it in my planner. And then I also put that on Wednesdays. I'm going to write out my outlines for my podcast because last time I clearly didn't have an outline. And then on Thursdays, I'm going to record my podcast. And guess what? Today's Thursday. Well, technically it's Friday at 2:08 a.m., but it's still Thursday to me because I haven't gone to sleep yet. I'm sticking to that. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I am going to edit my podcast. And Monday it'll be up. So I'm very proud of myself for that because I get bored easily. And if I'm not being stimulated, I will just be like, okay, whatever, like, and just go on to the next thing. So something that I will accomplish is getting my office back in order because right now you cannot see it, but my husband had to repaint the wall because he drew some Slim Shady mural on it, and there are clean clothes all over the bed. We don't even use this bed. This used to be our bed, but I don't like the platform bed anymore. I don't like the gray headboard. I'm over all the gray shit. So I put it to be used for the guest room, but we don't have guests. So we turned this room into my office and everything is out of place. I need to put away all the clothes that are on this bed. I need to clean up again and move the bed back. And I would like you to think about what you want to accomplish, even if it's something as small as washing the dishes. Do it, because if you give yourself like these little goals and you meet them, it inspires you to like keep doing that, and you feel better about yourself and you feel more productive, and it creates patterns of productivity and good habits for you. So do that. And this is now the end of our second episode of the Prizzilla podcast. So I hope you have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed yourself just sitting and chilling with me while I ranted for no reason, and come back next Monday for some more of my nonsense. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, all that stuff, and goodbye.